Hello there, my name's Steve Ringer and today I'm at Stanborough Park Lake for the Wednesday Open. What's going to happen is, on behalf of anglingtimes.co.uk, you're going to follow me throughout a full 6-hour match, talking about the decisions I make and the fish I catch. On peg 21 today at Stanborough, which according to all the information is a good draw. There were some fish caught in this little area on Sunday, so I'm quite confident of a few bites. One thing I have noticed is the pegging's actually quite tight here, so what I've done is, when I'm tackling up, I took note of how far the anglers either side of me are actually casting, and I've literally gone 10 yards past them. It's just gives me my own line, so I'm not competing with those anglers. I'm sort of fishing 40 yards, they're fishing 30 yards, so I've got my own bit of water, which in theory should mean I'm drawing fish from a wider area, and if any fish are out in the middle, they're going to come to me first. But when you're bream fishing, one of the most important things is being accurate with your casting. Today I'm going to be setting up 2 rods, so what I need to do is make sure these 2 rods are clipped up at the same distance. To do this easily, it's ideal if you've got 2 reels the same. I've got 2 reels the same, 2 rods. What I'm going to do is cast out the distance I want to fish at, and once I've cast out that distance, I'm going to put the line clip on, and I'm going to count the actual reel turns back. So today, for instance, I'm fishing 53 turns, and then once I swap to the other rod, I'll do exactly the same, cast it out to roughly what I think is the same spot, then cast the reel, count the reel turns back again until I get to maybe take me 3 or 4 casts to get to 53, and then I can be sure that I'm clicked up the same spot both rods, which ensures perfect accuracy. Well, as I've said, we're at Stanborough Lake today. Stanborough tends to respond best to an out-and-out feeder approach, so for this reason I've actually set 2 rods up. The first one is a 12-foot Shimano Antares medium feeder. The reason I've gone for a 12-footer is it's a decent-ish cast, sort of 45-50 yards, so I'm going to make sure I'm not struggling to get there should the wind get up or conditions change. So I've gone for a 12-foot rod, got a 4,000 size reel, which is spot on for big distance casting, got plenty of winding power for getting that feeder back in quick. Line-wise, it's worth spending a little bit of time talking about that. A lot of people think when you're bream fishing you need to use braid. Well, I never use braid for bream fishing, I always prefer to use mono. The reason for this is 9 bream bites out of 10, they'll literally pull the rod in. So it's literally a case of sitting on your hands and waiting for a proper bite when you're bream fishing, so there's no need for braid whatsoever in my book. Setup wise, again, everything's dead simple. Got a small cage feeder, which I'm going to start on. What I'm first going to do, I'm going to put a large cage on, I'm going to put 4 feeders in of ground bait and pellets just to start, and chuck a small cage over the top. Actual terminal tackle, got a feeder tied into a 5-inch loop, and it's fixed at the top of the 5-inch loop, and there's a series of small loops tied in below it. This creates a stiff boom to stop the feeder actually tangling around the hook length. The key to knowing how long to tie the loop is to make sure when you pull the feeder like so, that the bottom of the loop is longer than what the feeder hangs down. Hook length is 0.16 Antares Silk Shark, about a 12-inch hook length to a size 16 hook with a short hair, which we're going to be fishing with meat or boilies on. The second rod is identical, the setup's identical, other than, I'll just show you, we're going to be fishing with a little inline method. A lot of bream these days get caught on the method feeder, so I'm going to take advantage of this, set up the second rod with a little method, just as a change tactic. And there are a few carp in here, and I know that they fall to the method, so that's something that could pick me up a bonus fish. Although I've said bream are going to be the target fish, traditional bream tactics at Stanborough Lake aren't the norm. What I'm actually going to be fishing is what we call virtually a carp style approach. There's a lot of big carp in this lake, and as a result, the bream have seen a lot of fish meal based ground baits, a lot of pellets, a lot of boilies, and they've tuned into these baits, and they're now the #1 sort of bait that catch most of the bream on this venue. Ground bait wise, I'm using a 50-50 mix, 1 bag Ringers Dark, 1 bag Ringers Original. Little tip when mixing your ground bait for bream, always mix it the night before. 2 reasons: it saves time on the bank, and also it means your ground bait's fully got time to absorb all the water. It means you're not constantly throughout the day adding water to the ground bait trying to get it the right consistency. So always mix your ground bait the night before. The other key ingredient is micro pellets. Got the Ringers commercial micro pellets. What I do with them the night before, put the required amount of pellets into a bait tub, and I cover them with cold water, take the cold water straight off again, plastic bag full of air in the fridge overnight, and they become lovely soft and spongy, and they're much more attractive to the actual bream themselves. So That's how to prepare them. For sessions, I've got probably 2 pints of micro pellets, and I expect if we do catch some fish, I expect to go through the lot. Hook bait wise, we've got two main hook baits. We've got 8mm white boilies, which currently is the #1 bream hook bait on this water. So I'm going to be alternating between them and the good old yellow luncheon meat. And you needn't ask what's on the luncheon meat, because I shan't be telling you. Well, we're 5 minutes in and we've already had a bream of about 3.5 pounds. Well, that might seem like the dream start to most anglers. I am actually happy with that, but one of the worst things you can sometimes do is catch a bream early. What happens is you don't give the bream a chance to settle on the bit of grub you put out, so catching one early can often mean you spook the shoal straight away. So while it's nice to have a bream in the net possibly before anyone else in the match, there's a chance now it could actually not do my chances for the rest of the match any good, but we'll have to see. What I'm going to do to try and get a little bit of grub down, because it's obvious I've got bream in front of me from the start of the match. I'm going to start casting sort of every 2 to 3 minutes, try and get a bit of grub on the bottom, just to hold any fish that are milling about out in that area. I'm just over half hour in now. There's been no more bites since that first bite of the day, which actually came first cast. Personally, I don't think that's a good thing. I'd like to have had a couple of line bites or something, because bream don't swim around on their own. So I'm confident when I first started there wasn't a lot of bream in front of me. I probably moved as a result of hooking that one first, but we've got 6 hours today, so there's plenty of time for the bream to move back in. One interesting little change I've just made is, started on sort of 12, 14 inch tail, just changed it down to about 8 inches, just to see. And sometimes the bream will come right to the feeder, sometimes they want a longer tail. One of the secrets on here is chopping and changing your tail length and your hook baits, just to try and eke out every possible bite from the peg. I'm now about 45 minutes in. I've gone to that little short tail, like I said. Got a 6-8 inch tail and it's been rewarded with a bite straight away. It doesn't feel like a massive fish, but it's another fish. There's going to be a bit more weight in the net, hopefully. I've not had any indications, which is quite surprising. So I'm only chucking into sort of 4 or 5 foot of water. And you'd expect to get the odd line bite. There's a lot of fish there, but literally both bites have been pull rounds out of the blue. So I'm not complaining, but it's early days yet. Right, I've just had a bit of a quiet spell, so a little trick that's worked for me in the past on many bream waters is just to change the hook bait. I've had the first few bites on the meat, I've just switched to a little white 8mm Ringer's white shellfish boilie, being rewarded with an instant bite. It's amazing how many times that can happen. It's almost as though there's fish down there, they see a few of them get caught and they wise up to that particular hook bait. So quick change of hook bait can suddenly result in a little flurry of bites again before you need to change once more. Okay, we're 2 hours in now. I've had 7 fish, probably looking at around 15 pounds in weight, which is a good start. I'm happy with that. I've had an odd indication as well. I've actually just lost 2 fish in 2 casts, which is not such good news. But I did actually get a few turns on them, so I didn't actually lose them in the swim. So I'm hoping I won't have done too much damage there. Since losing the 2 fish, the first thing I've done, I've just changed my hook. I'm not taking any chances. I'm not getting loads and loads of bites. So 2 lost fish means a changed hook for me. So I've just changed hook, put a slightly longer tail on. The idea being give them a little bit more line to hang themselves on.